Hi everybody, welcome back. We are diving into Module 3, Child Development and Traditional Literature. This is a 2-week module, and I will do my best to get through the entire module in this first video. Okay, so for week 1, we're focusing on child development. And child development is a very fun reading, especially for those of you who are early childhood majors. I know you will find a particular interest in this, but if you're not, I know that you will also really enjoy how child development is related and children's literature can be used to foster development. So this week you will be reading child development in our text. You will also be, as I jump back here to the modules, let me see, our child development reading is here, and then we will be, of course, completing a reading organizer. You guys are doing a really good job on the reading organizer, so I don't need to go over it. It's the same questions each time. Continue to give me the detail that you've been giving, referring to the text. And I guess the only note I have is do make sure that you are answering all 3 prompts. Occasionally we tend to forget to do number 3, which is doing that try it section of the book. So remember, there's multiple try it's throughout the reading. Just choose one that works for you. We have a reading commentary this week, which is where we will be exploring the Giselle Dr. Seuss Award winners. First thing you want to do is click on this link and it will show you all the various award winners. We've got the 2020 and it goes all the way down through 2006. You can do honor books as well as winners. I do not care which one you choose. So choose one and then you can decide if you are going to complete option 1, which would be finding the 2 books, whether from the library or any other place, whether your own personal library, your school library, where you can get these books in hand, reread them multiple times, and really pay close attention to how these books encourage and support beginning readers. Our child development reading is going to really go into depth about what beginning reading looks like and the stages that these children are in during that beginning reading process. So think about how the book demonstrates creativity and encourages imagination for these beginning readers, and then decide what developmental stage this book is created for. Is it created for infants, toddlers, early childhood reading, or is it early readers? And our reading for the week will describe that in more detail, so I am looking for that to be noted. Your initial post should include the title and author, the developmental stage that you think this book is intended for. Make sure that you are using the readings to help you with that answer. Which of the following 4 do you think your book is supporting? Does it use language or definitions, or use language and definitions from the text to support your analysis? So you want to really be tying in the text to this answer here. And then how does the book demonstrate creativity and imagination? What topic or idea does this book help students explore or learn about? And of course, include an image of the book in your thread. If you're going to do option 2, you do not need to have the book in hand. You will use the Giselle Award winner reading to find 2 books that you want to choose. And then you will also do a search for book reviews of the 2 books that you are choosing. Once you choose the review for each book, you will also include that review on this post so that we can link out and take a look at it ourselves. So as you are reading the book reviews, pay attention to how the books encourage and support beginning readers. Same thing as above. Think about how the book demonstrates creativity and imagination in order to encourage beginning reading, and decide what developmental stage, as stated from our course reading, the book is created for. For your initial post, you want to pretty much do the same thing as option 1. You are going to include your title, author, the developmental stage that the book is for, tied in with our reading. How does the book demonstrate creativity and imagination? And also here, this is where you will include a picture of each book in a digital image is fine, and then the 2 links to your reviews. Now, option 2 is in lieu of reading the actual book. So if you choose option 2, you do not need to go to Tumble Books or the library or get an e-reader and read the book. You will use the reviews to answer this question. If you want to read the book, you can do option 1, and that can be the book in hand from the library, like we've talked about. But if you choose to use Tumble Books, for example, or you're using an e-reader like a Kindle, you're going to be doing the option 1 post. So the option 2 should only be for if you choose not to read the book and you're doing your initial post based on the 2 reviews that you found. I hope that helps. Either option can include the digital image of the book. It does not have to be an actual book in hand. I've also had people ask, can I have a hard copy of a book for one of my books and a digital book for the other? Absolutely. So that's totally fine. If you have a hard copy on hand and you're able to use that, and then you want to use Tumble Books or another e-library or e-reader, totally fine. Whatever works for you. I have option 2 in place for when you can't get a hold of an actual book and you need to have another option, which is why we have that review option. So I hope that helps to answer that question. Okay, as we jump back, the only other thing we have for this week, that's kind of a big one, is you have your first literature study. Now, you have been reminded to be reading Because of Winn-Dixie. Because of Winn-Dixie is loaded here if you do need the digital copy. If you haven't started reading it, you do have your work cut out for you, but you can do it. This is a pretty fast, fun read. So do make sure you read the book. Please don't watch the movie. It is not the same, and it is not as good. Okay, to complete the literature study, you're going to be creating your own picture book using illustrations and text based on the story. So the first thing I suggest is consider using Google Slides or PowerPoint. This is the easiest way to do so. Then you are going to divide the book up into 5 sections. So if you're using Google Slides or PowerPoint, the first slide should be recapping chapters 1 through 5. Slide number 2 would be recapping chapters 6 through 10. Slide 3, chapters 11 through 15, and so on. So each slide should give you a recap of the section of the chapter. So if we're looking at slide 1, and it is focusing on chapters 1 through 5, you will use that opportunity to tell me what occurred in chapters 1 through 5, and then include an illustration. So if chapters 1 through 5 includes introduction to Winn-Dixie herself and Opal herself and what occurred in those chapters, you would give me the synopsis of what occurred, and then the illustrations should be visuals of what occurred. So maybe you would have a picture of Opal, maybe you would have a picture of Winn-Dixie, maybe there would be a picture of what occurred in the Winn-Dixie market when she first encounters Winn-Dixie. So to be clear, the illustrations can be pictures of various things that occurred in the chapters, or if you want to create one picture of a particular very important scene that pretty much describes that section, that is fine. If you are an artist and enjoy drawing, I love to see your creativity that way, so feel free to draw it yourself. If you are not an artist and you're not comfortable with that, digital images are fine. So to be clear, your submission should include a PowerPoint or Google slide presentation is the best way to do it, a title slide giving your name and the title of the assignment, and then your supporting slides. And in each slide, there should be a synopsis or a summary of the section that you are writing about in your own words, as well as the digital images. So your summary, you could consider these sentence starters like I love to do in our ROs and other things. In this section, we were introduced to, and you could give me the characters, setting, and problem. We learned or will learn more about the character or problem or etc. And the section ended with us waiting to learn more about or waiting to learn the plot, problem, or character. If you follow this sentence structure, you will answer exactly what I'm looking for in this literature study. So you can truly use the electronic tool of your choice. If you have a better idea and you don't want to use Google Slides or PowerPoint or Prezi, feel free to be creative as long as you are including this information in a way that demonstrates what I'm asking for. That is fine. The rubric is pretty straightforward. This is worth 15 points. 10 points for 5 illustrations to capture the gist of the book. 5 points for supporting text, providing a synopsis or summary of the story in your own words. I'm looking forward to seeing your synopsis. It's always fun. This is one of my favorite literature studies, and I hope you enjoy this book because it is fun. If you have children at home or that you see regularly and you haven't read the book as of yet, consider I read aloud to them. Even if you have already read the book, I suggest considering reading aloud to children, to your own children or grandchildren or whoever, because it is a wonderful book. Okay, so that is due this week. Next week in Module 3, we're going to be looking at traditional literature. And in that week, you will read traditional literature. You will complete the reading organizer for traditional literature, and then you have a reading commentary, and that is all. So for the reading commentary for traditional literature, you can link out. You're going to find 2 traditional literature books, and this reading gives you an example of what traditional literature is and some highly recommended traditional literature books. You don't have to choose books from this recommended site, but I think it is very helpful, and the books on here are awesome, and I think that you'll enjoy them. So for your option 1, you find the 2 books. If you want to find them on Tumble Books, if you want to find them in the actual library and have them in hand, any other way where you're actually reading the whole book, that's great. That would be option 1. Reread your books with attention to what types of traditional literature you think it is, using our reading to help you with that. Describe what culture it represents and how it helps the reader make meaning of our lives. That is one of the key components to traditional literature. There's usually meaning or some kind of lesson or some sort of answer that is given in a traditional literature. Your option 1 should include the title and author. It should include the type of traditional literature. What type of literature do you think it is and why? This will be directly from the readings this week. Use language definitions from the text to support your analysis. So for example, is it folk tale, fairy tale, ballads, epics, legends, myths, tall tales, etc.? What culture does the story represent? What do readers learn from the story? What life lesson or answer to why or question? Is it good versus evil? Is there a moral? That should be this section. And based on what we read about child development last week, what age or grade level do you think this piece of traditional literature would be good for and why? And attach your 2 images of the book. Okay, for option 2, remember this is for those that do not want to read the book and you would prefer to do a review of the book. So you will choose 2 books of traditional literature and find 2 reviews according to those books. Read those reviews to help you make your initial post. In your initial post, it's going to be following the same format: title and author, what type of traditional literature and why, what do readers learn from the story, and the age range of the book that it's appropriate for. You will attach the image of the books as well as the links to the 2 reviews you used to answer this option 2. Okay, everybody, that concludes our Module 3. I am so looking forward to reading your first Lit Study. Please email me through Canvas if you have any questions, and I wish you a fabulous, fabulous next few weeks. Bye for now.